Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. And thank you once again to miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. Miskatonicbooks.com, your sponsorship means the world to me and to the many viewers who tune in every week to check out what the best, most beautiful, most interesting, most insightful occult and esoteric books are. And and for good reason, right? Miskatonicbooks.com are really a fantastic place to go and locate difficult to find books, difficult to find occult books, books that are just released, such as Semesilam. A little bit more about that in a couple of moments. But also, books that have been out of print for a while, books that have been published abroad, like The Magical Art, books that have been, just difficult to get a hold of. Miskatonicbooks.com really is an awesome resource for the esoteric and occult book aficionado community. So thank you so much for sponsoring the show. And do go and visit miskatonicbooks.com and to check out what they currently have in stock. Let's check out some news about Semesilam, which I was just showing you right there on the miskatonicbooks.com website. Of course, published by Anathema Publishing. This was a Kickstarter, I guess, about 4 or 5 months ago, something along those lines, and it is shipping, right? People have started to receive their copies, and there is an official book launch happening at Watkins Books on the 4th of October, and José Gabriel Alegría Sabogal himself in the flesh is going to be in London at Watkins Books to give a talk. And of course, Watkins Books is, it's a gigantic occult and esoteric book store in the heart of London, very close to Leicester Square. But the area where they have their talks, well, I mean, let's be honest, it's a shop, right? So it's not a big open space. It's packed with books. It's packed with bookshelves. So do make sure that if you are hoping to see Jose speak at this book launch, that you RSVP ASAP. If you're seeing this as a member, as a Foolish Fish member, which is to say on the Thursday 26th, then you've probably still got a chance. I fingers crossed for anyone watching this, hoping to see Jose, that there will still be some seats at the time that you push that RSVP button. But that's going to be a lovely chat, a really, really nice chat. It'll be a good opportunity if you're living in the UK or happen to be visiting London at the time. It'll be a good opportunity if you didn't get a chance to back the Kickstarter to pick the book up itself from Watkins Books. A little bit more news, in fact, from Anathema Publishing. They had this really lovely newsletter where they were talking about their apparel. So you know that they've had a few difficulties with the fluctuating currencies, for example. Like this is one of the troubles that they've had from this Kickstarter of Semesilam. The cost that had been quoted to them for the production of the books, for example, the cost didn't change, but the price of the Canadian dollar in relation to where they were getting the books published, which is in the UK, I believe, really plummeted. And so their costs in Canadian dollars just went through the roof. That was one thing. And then, of course, the shipping, which was just miles away from what they had estimated, just because of the very steep increase in the price of shipping, and also some unexpected things such as double packaging the artwork in order to make it all work. I told you all about this last week. But one of the things that they're doing to try to stay alive as a company, Gabriel is very optimistic. He's told me he's not he's not very pessimistic about all of this, but nevertheless, there is a real risk there, nevertheless. And one of the things that they're doing to try to overcome this this misstep or anyway. Difficult situation for them is to make some apparel, and you can see that they are making these available as men's t-shirts, women's or unisex t-shirts, specifically women's t-shirts, and I think it's hoodies. I believe it's hoodies. Yes, unisex hoodies. There we go. So unisex classic tees, unisex hoodies, and women's short sleeve t-shirts. There we are. And you can see, the designs are really, really cool. And of course, Shandy AZK has contributed a couple of really, really nice designs for these t-shirts. I think it's lovely. It's really very, very cool indeed. And you can pick all of that up directly from their anathemapublishing.com, of course, under the artifacts header, which you can see over here. You've got the books and prints, the music, and their artifacts, featuring some of Shandy AZK's jewelry that he's created, and some bookmarks and other things, right? So just go and check out the books that are available. It's likely you're going to want to pick up one or two, and stick a t-shirt in the cart. Why not? There's so many good things coming out from Anathema Publishing. Anyway, all right. So that's about it, I think, from Anathema Publishing for today. Let's talk a little bit about this new release from Hadean Press. It's Liber Umbrarun, the Book of Shadows. Now, I was telling you about this a couple of weeks ago, I guess. Steve Savado's translation of Pier Luca Pierini's Liber Umbrarun. And I was telling you how excited I was for this. I've already put in my order for this, obviously. So Liber Umbrarun is a complete 6-month system of practice for conjuration of the elemental spirits, demons, planetary archangels, and the Holy Guardian Angel. The practice is a synthesis of material from the Abramelin, the Key of Solomon, and the Heptameron, with elements from the Arbatel, the Magus, and the writings of Eliphas Levi. The structure and composition make this a much more viable and practical method than the Abramelin for communicating with the Holy Guardian Angel in the modern age. What's not to like, folks? And, seeing it published through Hadean Press is an instant mark of trustworthiness, right? In my eyes, they're really one of the most relevant publishers today in terms of the content that they're putting out. It's just fantastic stuff, folks. So put in your pre-orders. Absolutely, go and check out all the other pre-orders that are happening right now. I haven't even told you about the inventory of demons. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Excuse me. Let's have a look. Where is it? News, full catalog. There we go. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. I don't think they're organized in order of release. It doesn't matter. Anyway, definitely Clavis Intelligentiarum. This is going to be one of the biggest releases this year. And check out all their most recent their guides to the underworld, right? I know that there's a new one that's been released quite recently. They release these quite regularly. So yes, I don't think I've spoken about the very, very latest one. And alphabetically price date old to new, maybe. Here we go, new to old. Let's see what's coming up here. No, I'm not going to find it. Cyprianic conjurations from Norway. I think I talked about that one. Doesn't matter. Anyway, have a look around. You're going to find some good stuff. Okay, let's move on to news from Barry William Hale. And Barry William Hale has released a new book in which he gives, it's essentially based, if I understand correctly, on some major arcana that were revealed to Aleister Crowley. I may have misunderstood this. In 1907, in the midst of a mystical frenzy, Aleister Crowley received a series of arcane sigils. These sigils were said to be a complete form of the major arcana of the tarot, as witnessed by Osiris in the Egyptian underworld. Each major arcana is represented by two sigils. The upright form of the card, called the House of Tahuti, illustrates its triumph or virtue, whereas the averse form, called the Prison of the Clipot, shows its downfall or vice. Each sigil is said to represent a spirit, which is also given a name, that the spirit might be called. Published without commentary in the Equinox in 1912, the enigmatic contents of this work have intrigued and inspired occultists for over a century. Notable explorations include Kenneth Grant's Night Side of Eden and Robert Fitzgerald's A Gathering of Masks. In Arcanum Arcanorum, Robert C. Stein presents an initiate's perspective into the system as a whole. He further explores in depth the significance of each individual sigil and its corresponding name. Complementing this analysis, Barry William Hale offers a series of 22 mesmerizing drawings, each piece ingeniously merging the upright and averse spirit of each tarot card into a single unified form. Together, the engrossing artwork and penetrating analysis uniquely honors and unveils the mysteries of the Holy Book. Look how beautiful this is, folks. Check this out. Absolutely gorgeous. So, as many of you know, I live in Poland, and some of I wasn't able to find a link to be able to buy this book from Poland. But Barry has provided numerous links for various places in the world. If you're in the US, you can go to the first link, and various online retailers. If you're in the UK, you can go to this one. If you're in Germany, you can go to this one over here. So that's some areas covered at least, and hopefully once the book starts getting propagated to other Amazons, for example, it'll be a little bit easier to get hold of in the areas not mentioned over here. But that's Arcanorum. There we go. A couple of books on Amazon. Just a little reminder, folks, if you can pick these books up from your local bookstore, please do. If you can, if you've got an English-speaking bookstore nearby, go over to them and say to them, hey, can you order this book in? And they will, and then you'll be able to support a local business. So please do that if you can. If you happen to be in a situation like mine where you don't live in a country that has English-speaking bookstores, then yes, Amazon is an option. And if you use the links that I provide in my description of my videos, then those are associate links, and I can get a small little percentage at no extra cost to you. So I get a little tip from Amazon for every dollar spent if you arrive on the website from one of my links. It doesn't, in fact, matter what you end up buying, as long as you arrive on the website from one of my links and then go through checkout and actually buy something, anything. I will get a little percentage of whatever you buy at no extra expense to you. So thank you very, very much for those of you who do this. And I know that some of you actually consistently do this, and really it's very, very touching. So thank you very, very much for your support, for all of this. It helps the channel to stay alive, of course. All right, let's have a look at Craft Your Own Magic. Guys, I was super surprised at this. Like, I was every week, I have a look at what's around, and I don't usually expect to be surprised, but I very often am, right? I very often am. And this is one of those situations where I didn't know anything about this. Craft your own magic, reawaken your intuition, understand magical correspondences, and create a meaningful personal practice. The cover's kind of unassuming, right? At least it seemed unassuming in its kind of smaller format over there. So Cassie Earl, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Cassie, I'm sorry, has written this book. And, scrolling down a little bit, there is this introduction to the book. Kind of a good idea to have, actually, on Amazon. And I was just looking through the names of the people who had read this to recommend it, and I found Nicholas Pearson. And I like what Nicholas Pearson does, right? So, all right, I took a slightly closer look. Let's have a little read here. It's a call to create your own magical practice by understanding magical correspondences, incorporating your own lived experiences and ancestry, and applying intuitive insights. Crafting your own magic is a personal and fluid journey. You won't find scripted spells and rituals within these pages. Instead, you'll find a collection of pathways to a magical practice rooted in your lived experience and the relationships you form in seen and unseen realms. You can probably tell how much this speaks directly to my own heart, right? Author of Hidden Pathways myself. Here, witch, intuitive energy healer, and death worker Cassie Earl will share techniques to hone your inherent intuitive abilities, personal experiences, and practices, all of which she encourages you to modify to suit your needs. I just said Hidden Pathways, right? I don't even know the title of my own book. What's wrong with me? Come on, Hidden Paths, if you're looking for it. All right, your magical practice and the path that shapes it will be as unique as you are, as it should be. Earl walks you through crafting your own magic using the elements as guideposts: air on developing intuition, fire on magic in relationship, water on correspondences, earth on ethics and ancestry, and spirit on bringing it all together. What crafting your own magic looks like for you will be personal and fluid. Yes, it will. Where would you turn to seek inspiration? Community, means, and modes to craft your magic. Perhaps it will shift towards the trees, flowers, birds, or invisible in-between spaces. There will likely be parts of your magical practice that no one but you will be able to define as true. For these reasons, parts of crafting your own magic may feel uncomfortable. For these places of discomfort, not knowing and becoming, your magical practices can flourish. From these places of discomfort, not knowing and becoming, your magical practices can flourish. That sounds really good to me. I don't know what the contents are like. I don't know what if the book is in fact wonderful or not. But the philosophy here for me is core. This is the point. This is the point. So yeah, sounds good to me. It's available as a Kindle edition, as a paperback, but also as an audiobook via Audible, which is very, very cool. That came out on September 10th. Next, we've got The Curious Law of Precious Stones. This came out on September 3rd. A compendium of gemstone folklore, superstitions, and mysticism. Mystic Archive. So this is a pretty encyclopedia, you could say. If I open this up, you can have a closer look at the cover, of course, a little look at the look of the inside of the book, on the use of precious and semi-precious stones and as talismans and amulets. It seems like a potentially useful resource, right? It's certainly prettily done. And there are encyclopedias of precious stones and semi-precious stones out there. I think it's okay to have yet another. Let's see how many pages we've got here. 304 pages. So yeah, sure, okay. It seemed, is that in the same collection? Would it make sense that that would be in the same collection? It looks kind of similar, doesn't it? The cover. Maybe it is. It's a similar format as well, right? Who's the author? George Frederick Cummins. Let's have a look over here at what this is. Moon Magic. Mary Bruce. Okay, so it's a different author for sure. We've got the tarot over here. Let's see. Mystic Archives. It certainly seems to be some kind of collection, doesn't it? Publisher, Sirius. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Yeah, publisher, Sirius. So yeah, I'm guessing there's a book of divination as well. Okay. Oh, a pretty little collection of books. Okay, fair enough. Good to know. Next, we've got the Collected Poems of J.R.R. Tolkien boxed set. You know that I'm a fan. You know that I love Tolkien's works. And yeah, seeing this collection of poetry is just nice. Am I going to personally get it? No. Am I delighted to see such a pretty edition? Are you kidding? Of course. Absolutely lovely. And I think that people who are even more a fan of Tolkien than I am are going to want this, right? It seems like you've got poems here from 1910 to 1967. So yeah, quite lovely. The price is okay for three slipcased books. That's kind of normal, I think. Of course, you can buy it as a Kindle edition. Okay, I'm not sure I would pay $90 for 3 Kindle books, depending on the contents, of course. Hardcover, I think this is the right price, which is quite cool. So there we are. And then what do we have? Oh yes, this kind of caught my attention. This is a hand-bound and letterpressed edition of Pinocchio. Now, if you saw my review of Caligula, you'll know that I think that Pinocchio is... there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. I think of Pinocchio as a modern-ish rendition of Apuleius's The Golden Ass, which in turn is really it follows the shape of an initiation. In fact, it ends with an actual literal initiation, and I think that Pinocchio is really a retelling of that. In fact, I think that the fact that Pinocchio turns into a donkey himself is really a confirmation, in fact, of that. Anyway, it's a lovely, lovely edition. Look at that, absolutely beautiful, and with brand new illustrations and this very cool cutout wooden slipcase. It's just so lovely, isn't it? And the hand-bound nature, handmade nature of this. Yeah, it's great, really, really great. Lots of different versions of the edition, lots of different editions, should I say? Different, probably different price points as well. Yeah, embossed leather and stuff. Yeah, I think this is really, really lovely. Let's have a quick look at prices, possibly. Digital copy for $22. Okay. And then the complete collection of illustrations for $240. The Collodi edition. Oh my goodness, the Cricket edition. Look at those prices. Yeah. The Puppet edition. Yeah. Do I dare go further? $2,150. All right. Let's move on, folks. Some very good news. My cards of fate and fortune are available to purchase. So I've recorded a video where I present these cards. I made these over the summer. The video is recorded. It's been released to members. So whether you're a member through YouTube or whether you're a member through Patreon, you should actually have access to that video now to actually get a closer look. Essentially what I've made here is a deck of 50 cards with little quotations, and you can see more or less what it looks like over here. Quotations from folk and fairy tales, but the traditional versions, so not the sanitized modern versions or anything like that. The actual traditional fairy and folk and fairy tales, and the deck works really well. I've got my wife to try it out, and it works. It worked hilariously well for her. The result was just so spot on. It was very, very cool. I've had a couple of friends try them out. It's. I can confirm that it's good. It works, and it's exactly what I was hoping it would be. It's small. You can see it's. It holds and it fits in my hand, and it's in this little mint tin, come on, there's like a little booklet, like just very, very small fold out booklet telling you how to use the deck, and then the cards themselves, right? The cards themselves with you can see what the back looks like. This is all art adapted from the works of Arthur Rackham, and this is what the front looks like. There we go. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with them, and they're available to purchase on thegamecrafter.com. They're a little bit slow to deliver, thegamecrafter.com, so do be aware that the standard amount of time for it to be produced, so that it's print on demand, right? So when you put your order in, you can go for the standard, which is just the normal price of the deck. Price the deck at $39. So the normal price of the deck, it takes a month to produce, and then they send it, right? If you're within the US, then the kind of normal prices for selling tend to arrive within a couple of weeks, I believe. If you're living abroad, the normal prices for shipping, and actually the shipping's quite reasonable, like the normal shipping to Europe at least is kind of reasonable. I was quite surprised. But it will take over a month from the date that it's actually been printed to reach you if you're in Europe. You can get it expedited. So if you pay twice the price of the deck, I don't know why somebody would do that, but if you really, really want it soon, then you can get it as urgent, and then it'll basically be made on the same day or the next day. And the prices for quick shipping that I paid to actually have this to be able to show you guys. Ooh, yeah, that was something else. But the reason I'm telling you all of this is that if you put in your orders now, they will absolutely, wherever you live in the world, they will absolutely be with you by Christmas. There's no question about that. You should get them kind of in mid-November, so in fact a month before Christmas. So you'll still have about a month of leeway, right? So if you're thinking about stocking fillers or small gifts for friends who might appreciate a deck that gives access to divination without the hurdle of having to learn the symbols of tarot, for example, right? Even oracle decks, you have to know the correspondences of various symbols at least, right? And well, this kind of tells you a couple of sentences, and it's up to you to take the hint. So it's really designed for absolute beginners, although it works really well for people who are well versed in divination as well, and it should provide some laughs, I think, just because of how accurate it is, right? I don't know if you've ever had this experience, possibly with the I Ching, where you're reading the description of the hexagram and you're like, oh wow, that's just very, very accurate. So yeah, if you're capable of taking a hint, that's all really you need in order to be able to get the most out of this Foolish Fishes Folk and Fairy Tale Cards of Fate and Fortune. I did, in fact, go with the linen finish, and I'm really pleased with the result of these cards. I don't think I'm going to manage to show this to. Oh, maybe I am. Anyway, you can see the size is just right, in my opinion. The card stock is really good. Anyway, you can check out the full review when that comes out on Saturday for the general public. And if you're a member, then yeah, you may in fact have already seen it. There we go. Okay, let's have a look. Next, we've got the Emerald Papyrus Tarot, Egyptian Symbolism and Lore. And yes, this is, it's not guaranteed AI free, but I checked very closely. The author took 3 years to create this deck, which is not consistent with AI. I think they have to disclose now if they have used AI generated images. I refuse to call it art in a Kickstarter project. And this looks like it's mostly collage. All right, that's basically what this is, and it's hard to say because the author's being a little bit cagey and not wanting to reveal too much. Basically, the author feels like people receiving this deck are going to want to have the surprise of what it looks like. But you can get some hints of what it looks like from these little pictures over here. There are a couple of pictures shared. You can see over here. The author actually says, listen, I will release some more pictures if I'm asked enough. But I think that the author's hoping to keep this mostly a secret of how this actually works. So yeah, if you strain your eyes a little bit, hold on, if I can maybe zoom in a little bit. The quality of the picture isn't going to be great, but it'll give you an idea of at least the composition of these cards. I think they're beautiful, just in terms of the composition and in terms of the colors. I think that is utterly gorgeous. So yeah, maybe one to look into. Anyway, this is the Emerald Papyrus Tarot. Let's have a quick look at the prices. So early birds, 55 Canadian dollars. So yeah, not that crazy actually in terms of price. The Emerald Papyrus Tarot, that's the regular price if you're not an early bird. The Emerald Papyrus for 2, I see 2 decks, simple enough. 10 copies, 20 copies, all right, I get the general idea. So and this is the one card that the author has actually shared, so you can really see it is clearly collage technique, right? And it's very, very pretty indeed. There we go. Next, we've got a couple of classes. The first one is an Atlas Obscura class, which is led by Eliza Swan. So this is an introduction to scrying. The class is called Poems from the Deep. So this is what the 2 sessions, propose. In this 2-part lecture series, dive into the history and practice of the ancient art of scrying, divination through reflective surfaces, and transform your insights into creative expression. It looks like a history of scrying and also a look into how you can add the art of scrying into your own divination practice. So that's pretty cool. So session 1, in this session, we'll look at the history of scrying and examine the variety of materials and methods used for practicing the art. And then second session, together we'll practice a few scrying techniques for finding guidance as well as creative inspiration. There we go. Very exciting stuff. And then the second course is one that's being offered through Morbid Anatomy, and of course it's the wonderful Dr. Alexander Cummins, who is offering a course on, it's called The Treasures of the Sorcerers, a guided tour of ritual tools and magic objects. And so, yeah, so he proposes to go and check out the various implements that are used by ceremonial magicians and cunning folk and basically anyone, any sorcerer, anyone practicing magic, any kind of object used in the practice of magic. And that sounds pretty exciting to me. Pretty cool stuff. There we go. You can go and check out all the admission details directly through Morbid Anatomy. There we are, folks. I hope you enjoyed this particular show. If you did, then leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one chat with me, you can do that by checking out the links in the pinned comment and also in the description. I can read your tarot. We can have a conversation, just a relaxed conversation about your life and about your magical practice. And I can give you some tips and hints on why things aren't going as well as you'd like them to go, or if they are going very well, then, how to go further and, and things like this. And we can ask the I Ching for some hints along the way and basically have a nice time together for an hour. So yeah, the links to do that are down below. And if you'd like to support the channel in a very direct way, then the Patreon really is the best way to do that. It's the one that from which I receive the largest portion of your gifts, right? So by all means, if YouTube memberships are convenient for you, then that's wonderful. Of course, it's wonderful. YouTube tend to take about 30% of your gifts, and Patreon take 8%. So yeah, quite a significant difference. Every single member gets access to the Foolish Fish Discord, where we chat about all things magic on many, many different channels, lots and lots of different headers. Whatever you're interested in, the land of magic, there's definitely a channel for you there, at least one. And you also get these news videos one day before everyone else, so you can head over to those rare books and get those early release numbers and get alerted to all these very cool esoteric and occult releases just a little bit before everyone else. And there's lots of other little perks that you can go and check out directly through Patreon, and the links to my Patreon are down in the pinned comment once again. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks again to Miskatonic Books for sponsoring the show. Again, really, really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone else who supports the show through watching, through clicking on the like button, through subscribing, through watching, through I said that already, and through supporting the channel through Patreon. Thank you so much to everyone through memberships as well. Very, very, very cool. Speak to you soon. I'll let you guys go. See ya. Bye.